Hey everybody, welcome to our bike through of 47th Avenue. This is a really interesting project because the city basically ripped up an old road and put in a brand new road between Columbia and Cornfoot. They ended up spending about $7 million in cahoots with some local property owners who were so fed up with the poor condition of the old road that they wanted a new one. So it's a good example of what the city can do when they have a clean slate and a full budget. I also wanted to highlight this project because this part of 47th Avenue is a really important connection between the Cully neighborhood and the Northeast Holman neighborhood greenway off of 42nd, and future paths that are going to help get us to the Portland Airport, the I-205 bike path, Northeast Marine Drive. So this is a really crucial piece in that larger network. There also happens to be a gem of a park smack dab in the middle of this project that everybody should know about, and that this new bikeway makes a lot easier to get to. So there's also some concerns that I have that I wanted to point out, and you'll get to see those in the video. So let's get right to it. Let's hop on our bikes and go check it out. Okay, so headed north from Columbia, you can see that the protection doesn't start for a little bit. That's too bad. Looks like the project scope didn't take it all the way up to the intersection. I wish it had. That's unfortunate. We need all the protection we can get. So here we go. This is where the project starts. You can see it's a shared biking and walking facility here off to the side, separated from traffic by this bioswale and the curb. Right away you can see that while it's a nice bikeway and it's protected, there are some pretty big driveways that you have to contend with, and they are industrial uses. Like you can see coming up here, a couple of these folks are pretty bad offenders that do this pretty routinely. That I see this block pretty much every time I take a look at this street. These guys, I rung my bell several times. They really didn't seem to care. And unfortunately, swerving around them and going into traffic is not super good idea, because it's a 40-mile-per-hour speed limit here, and it is full of heavy, large trucks. So I hope that the city can do more to encourage folks to not block this bike lane when they're accessing these businesses and loading and stuff like that. So here we go. You can see they've also planted lots of nice trees. I love this section where we're separated with these nice trees. And of course, once we get to Whitaker Ponds, we've got to take a detour to check out the cool little paths. There's walking paths in here. There's some off-road stuff. There's a nice little path that I highly recommend checking out. This is actually the destination for this whole project in a way, and hopefully someday folks who live up in Cully can get down here easily on foot and by bike. And this project goes a long way toward making that a reality. Here's a little view of the pond. And we are back, headed northbound on the path again. This is a funky little section where the path goes back down onto the street, and they're just using paint and post here, but pretty quickly we're back up to the nice protection, the nicer newer section. I think most of these crossings are going to be good. The visibility is okay, and the speeds are so low that we shouldn't have any problem with collisions. But the fact that there's such big driveways, and the fact that most people aren't going to be expecting bikes to be riding on this path does give me a little bit of concern. So as we reach the northern section of the project, you'll see that we just get very unceremoniously dumped onto Cornfoot Road, which is so not great at all for biking, almost a no-go zone. A lot of people do not like to use it. Hope someday this nice path will connect to another path and then continue up to the airport and I-205 and other places, but at this point it doesn't, and you're just dropped, unfortunately, right here, made to share the street with traffic. Now I'll go ahead and turn around and get headed southbound. Wow, see, that's the speed and size of trucks coming by. Pretty dangerous. So headed southbound. I want you to notice the path here is nice and wide, but it's also full of debris. So I really hope that PBOT can do a good job on keeping this clean. But really nice. I mean, this is sort of that top quality, world-class bikeway that PBOT is capable of making when they have a clean slate, a full road to work with, and a full budget for the most part. So here's that section again that drops down onto the street. They've got to do a good job cleaning this. This is really unfortunate. To spend $7 million on a facility and to have it look like this is really unacceptable and sad. But there you go. So continuing southbound here, they did add a new rapid flashing beacon so that folks could cross over, which is nice because people that work at these places on their lunch break, they can get over to Whitaker Ponds Park. Now this section, I'm not sure why, but the concrete ends and it goes back into pavement. I'm not sure if they were trying to save a few bucks here or what, but that is pretty strange. I'm not sure why. And this is the pallet manufacturing place here on my right that is not great in terms of blocking the bike lane. There's forklifts and stuff often make some pretty bad obstructions to the bike lane. So continuing southbound here, we're gonna climb up this little hill to Columbia Boulevard, and you'll get a sense of why I call this this new section of 47th like a high quality island in the middle of some really daunting gaps. So once you get up here to Columbia, this goes from a all ages and accessible bikeway to something where I personally would not feel comfortable taking my family. And here's what I mean. If you look at Columbia, this is just a high speed highway route with lots of trucks. Not a lot of people on foot or bike here, so drivers don't expect anybody but themselves, and the driving behaviors on this street are not super good at all. So this is unfortunate. We need to do something to tame this intersection if we want to see this great new section of 47th ever reach its potential. And here's what it looks like if you continue south from Columbia to try to connect into the neighborhoods. If you want to connect to the Holman Neighborhood Greenway or 42nd Avenue and Cully and other parts of the neighborhood, it's really bad because it's there's not a lot of space here. As you can see, the bike lane just ends, and you're in this shared environment with drivers. And in this direction going southbound, you're actually going uphill, so the speed differentials can be pretty significant. And you just got to motor up through here and hold those bars and hope everybody who's driving treats you well. So this is unfortunate. We need to make this a connection that is just as good of quality as the things on either side, which is a neighborhood greenway and now a big protected bike lane. So this isn't great, but this is what the conditions are currently to get you back up into the neighborhood. So you've got a Sharrow, but those are only going to have a limited impact. Unfortunately, you can't really get up to that sidewalk very easily because there's not a nice ramp. So most folks do just take the lane here, and that's Highway 30 below me. And then once you've made it up to this section, you've got to contend with some kind of really awkwardly angled on-ramps that go down to the highway, and then no bike lane at all. And then there's some other folk. There's a lot of folks that are parking cars here where they shouldn't be. So it's not the safest, most ideal way to get up to right here, which is the Holman Neighborhood Greenway. And just to give you a closer look at how the width plays out, here's just a few more clips to show you how nice and wide this new path is. And I just few bonus clips here. I love this little section by the park because you've got the bioswale on one side and nice new trees on the other side. Isn't that great? We should have all of our bikeways in Portland should look like this. So get on out there, take a look at it. This guy seems to enjoy it. So let me know what you think about this in the comments, and thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss future videos, and look for more coverage on Bike Portland.